Today's lesson is A Time for Celebration, Rituals of Spring. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our program. My name is Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And we're going to continue to talk about spring celebrations because spring is arriving in many parts of the world. We've already had our spring celebration here in Taiwan with the Spring Festival or Guonian, but there are still some celebrations going on in various parts of the world. We talked about a couple in Asia. We talked about Holi, and we also talked about Songkran. Those take place in India and Thailand, respectively.
Yes, those sound like a lot of fun. They sound like wild street parties with a lot of people throwing water and powder at each other. It also sounds like it can be quite chaotic. But here we're going to look at some other celebrations, one in Mexico. And this celebration has a different flavor, has a different feel to it.
Indeed. So we're going to shift our attention to the Western Hemisphere. We're going to go to the other side of the world. We're going to go to Mexico and the United States. So let's find out about the celebration at Teotihuacan now. Let's go to Mexico and find out how they celebrate the arrival of spring.
On the other side of the world, in Mexico, people flock to Teotihuacan's prehistoric pyramid to celebrate the spring equinox by absorbing positive energy from the first rays of the sun as it rises above the horizon. Thousands of visitors dressed in white climb the structure's 360 steps throughout the morning, raising their arms to the sky to get as close as possible to the source.
大家好，第一部分我们看到单字 prehistoric， 这个字是形容词，指史前的。例如 The island's prehistoric inhabitants supported themselves by trading with the mainland. 这座岛的史前居民靠着与大陆交易为生。
On the other side of the world, in Mexico, people flock to Teotihuacan's prehistoric pyramid to celebrate the spring equinox by absorbing positive energy from the first rays of the sun as it rises above the horizon. So here we have a very long sentence with a lot of vocabulary words. So let's look at the first one. So people flock to Teotihuacan's prehistoric pyramid. Prehistoric simply describes something that existed during a period of time before history was first written down. So we're talking about Teotihuacan's prehistoric pyramid. So this pyramid existed before a time when history began being written down.
Right, so we're going to Mexico now, and people there will go to Teotihuacan, and people flock there. They go there in large numbers, and people go there to celebrate the spring equinox by absorbing positive energy from the first rays of the sun as it rises above the horizon. And we've got the word equinox here. Helen and myself pronounce this word as equinox, but you could also say equinox. Both pronunciations are acceptable. That is a time of the year when nighttime and daytime are the same in duration. Remember, we have longer nights during the winter and longer days during the summer.
Yes, and to celebrate the spring equinox or equinox, people go to the prehistoric pyramid of Teotihuacan. So pyramid here, you may know this word already, but if not, it's a large stone structure that has a square base and it has walls with three sides that meet at the top to form a point. So the most familiar image of a pyramid is the one in Cairo in Egypt, but there is also a pyramid or several pyramids at Teotihuacan. So people gather there to celebrate the spring equinox by absorbing positive energy from the first rays of the sun as it rises above the horizon. Here we have the words absorb and horizon. So when you absorb positive energy, you are taking it in. Usually the verb absorb can be used to describe something that takes in water, like a sponge. a sponge takes in water. A student who is smart can be said to absorb information very easily. And here, people go to Teotihuacan to absorb positive energy from the sun. And when do they do this? They do it when the sun first rises above the horizon. And horizon refers to the line that is in the distance where the sky seems to meet the earth.
And thousands of visitors dressed in white climb the structure's 360 steps throughout the morning, raising their arms to the sky to get as close as possible to the source. So if you're there at that time, you will see thousands of visitors. People will be dressed in white, and they climb the stairs of this large structure. There are 360 steps that lead to the top of the pyramid, and they get to the top, and they raise their arms to the sky, and they face the direction where the sun is rising, and they want to get as close as possible to the source to absorb that wonderful energy. That's quite cool. I'd like to check that out myself. I did go to Teotihuacan many years ago, but I was unaware of this celebration when I went there. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's go up to the United States now and talk about the White House Easter egg roll.
Elsewhere in the Americas, an unusual tradition takes place each Easter Monday, the White House Easter egg roll. Children who win highly sought-after spots to take part in the competition use wooden spoons to roll colorfully painted eggs across the south lawn of the U.S. President's residence in Washington, D.C. After racing to beat their peers to the finish line, victors get to take home prizes for their effort.
第二部分我们看到名词 victor 指胜利者或是获胜者，像是 The victor in this game will receive a gold trophy. 这场比赛的胜利者会得到一座黄金制的奖杯，或是 The victor of the talent show was a young girl. 那场才艺比赛的冠军是一位年轻女孩。另外，在 victor 的字尾加上 y 就成了名词 victory， 意思是胜利。例如 Lewis is a great boxer, so he'll probably have a victory tonight. Lewis 是很厉害的拳击手，所以他今晚可能会赢得胜利。也可以说 Our basketball team is very happy about our victory. 我们的篮球队对于赢得胜利感到非常开心。
Elsewhere in the Americas, because we were talking before about Mexico, which is also in the Americas, so now we're going to go elsewhere in the Americas. An unusual tradition takes place each Easter Monday, the White House Easter egg roll. So again, the word elsewhere means in other places, in another place in the Americas. And in another place, we have the White House Easter egg roll. So it's the Easter egg roll, not the Easter egg roll. We're not talking about a particular egg roll dish. We're actually talking about a particular spring celebration that takes place at the White House.
Indeed. So let's find out some more about this. Again, we've got the Easter egg roll at the White House. Remember, the White House is really a White House. It's in Washington, D.C. there. And children who win highly sought-after spots to take part in the competition use wooden spoons to roll colorfully painted eggs across the south lawn of the U.S. President's residence in Washington, D.C. This sentence contains a lot of information. First of all, let's talk about children. They will win highly sought-after spots. If something's sought after, that means a lot of people want that thing. A placement in a prestigious company, that would be highly sought after. A lot of people would like to have that position. Lots of people are seeking after that position, so it's sought after. So yes, indeed, lots of children probably have to go through various tournaments in order to get into the finals here. They've got these highly sought after spots in this competition, and they will take part in this competition using wooden spoons. They won't use metal spoons because they'll probably break the shells of the eggs that way. Wood is softer, so they use wooden spoons to roll those eggs across the lawn there. there, and these eggs are colorfully painted. That's a tradition in Western countries to dye Easter eggs in different colors. I did that when I was a kid. I'm sure you did that as well, Helen. And in this particular case, these people roll the eggs across the south lawn of the U.S. president's residence in Washington, D.C. That's what the White House is. That's where the president lives. It's his residence.
Right. The residence of somebody is the place where that person lives. You can also use residence to talk about, in a legal sense, where you live. So your residence is also the place where, if you work, the place where you pay taxes. So the U.S. president's residence, where the U.S. president lives, is known as the White House, and it's in Washington, D.C. So this event takes place every Easter. You have the Easter egg roll where children gathered, and it's a very, very fun event to watch as well on television. So after racing to beat their peers to the finish line, victors get to take home prizes for their effort. Now, the word peer refers to somebody who is of your age. So if you're a student, let's say you're 12 years old, then your peers will be people in your class, people who are also 12 years old or more or less 12, 11, 13 years old. Those are your peers. So you're competing against your peers, and the victors get to take home prizes. Here, victor refers to the winner. Someone who is able to gain victory. That's a victor. Victor is also a common name in English. So evidently there isn't just one winner because there are victors. And these victors, winners, get to take home prizes for their effort.
Right. And of course they get to brag about their experience for the rest of their life. Hey, I took part in the Easter egg roll on the south lawn of the White House. And you can probably watch televised coverage of that competition on TV. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's go on now and talk about something that happens in Bosnia, in the city of Zenica. Let's find out.
Eggs are also the main feature at a small festival held on the first day of spring in Zenica, Bosnia. The people of the town get together first thing in the morning to cook a huge meal of scrambled eggs, which they then share with friends, family, and neighbors. Wherever you happen to be when you celebrate the arrival of spring, know that you're in good company. The people of the world revel with you.
第三部分我们看到动词 scramble 表示炒，例如 For her breakfast, Tiffany scrambled some eggs and toasted a bagel. Tiffany 早餐炒了蛋，还烤了一个贝果。另外，这个字也有急忙、仓促的意思。举例来说 The hotel staff scrambled to prepare the executive suite for a visiting celebrity. 旅馆工作人员急忙为一位到访的名人准备行政套房。或者 When the alarm sounded, the firefighters scrambled into their gear and onto the truck. 警报响起，消防员仓促地穿好装备，跳上消防车。再来，我们看到片语 be in good company， 表示有相同处境或同样问题的，大有人在。我们可以说 If you're left-handed, you're in good company because a lot of celebrities are too. 如果你是左撇子，和你相同的大有人在，因为很多名人也是。或是 Don't worry, many people have the same problems, so you are in good company. 别担心，跟你有一样问题的人大有人在。另外，补充这个片语里的单字 company， 这个字是不可数名词，指陪伴。例如 Jerry's only company these days is her cat. Jerry 这些日子只有他的猫作伴。或者 Would you like some company on Saturday? 星期六要我陪你吗？最后我们看到动词 revel， 指狂欢或是作乐，像是 On New Year's Eve, thousands of people gather at Taipei 101 to revel in the celebrations. 在跨年夜当晚，成千上万的人齐聚台北101，狂欢庆祝。也可以说 The team's fans reveled in their playoff win. 该队赢得季后赛，球迷欢欣庆祝。
So now we're going to move on to Europe, to Zenica, Bosnia, where eggs are another important part of a spring celebration. So it says here, eggs are also the main feature at a small festival held on the first day of spring in Zenica, Bosnia. The people of the town get together first thing in the morning to cook a huge meal of scrambled eggs, which they then share with friends, family, and neighbors.
Okay, so if you like eggs, this is the place for you. It, again, is a festival held on the first day of spring in Bosnia, and the people of this particular town get together first thing in the morning. So first thing means bright and early in the morning. They get up at maybe 5 or 6 in the morning, and they all get together to cook a huge meal, and that meal consists of scrambled eggs. There are different ways to cook eggs, of course. Scrambled means you basically take the contents of the egg and mix it together in the bowl so that it's a light yellow consistency. That is scrambled eggs. Then you fry it in a pan and then you flip it over and you mix it around and stuff like that. You get scrambled eggs. And so that, of course, is high in protein. And then the finished result is then shared with friends, family, and neighbors. So they all get to eat scrambled eggs for breakfast in this town. That sounds kind of simple, but I'm sure there are lots of festivities that go along with their feast.
Yep, that sounds more like my kind of celebration, to be honest. But wherever you happen to be when you celebrate the arrival of spring, know that you're in good company. The people of the world revel with you. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world when spring comes along. You're in good company when you celebrate the arrival of spring. And when you're in good company, it means that you know people elsewhere in other parts of the world are doing the same thing. They are also celebrating the arrival of spring. This phrase, to be in good company, is also used often to give someone consolation, to make them feel better about something that they did wrong, a mistake that they made. So if somebody, let's say, dropped a dish and broke it, then I could say to them, you're in good company. I do that all the time. I have butterfingers and I'm always breaking things, and that might make them feel better.
And also notice here we've got the word wherever, which means it doesn't matter where you are. If you happen to be in India or in Mexico or in Thailand or in Bosnia, no matter where you are, you can celebrate the arrival of spring. And this construction also is used with other question words. Whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you go, etc., etc. So in this particular case, you can go all over the world and celebrate the arrival of spring, and you'll be in good company. There will be people there with you.
Yes, and people of the world revel with you. To revel means to party, to have a party, to have fun, to dance, to sing, to be in the middle of a crowd. That's to revel. So people around the world are reveling, partying with you.
And of course, everybody, as you know, we're just scratching the surface. I'm sure there are lots of other spring festivals going on all over the world. And if you're not able to go to them yourself, hey, make up your own kind of festival and celebrate with your family and friends, because spring definitely is a good time of the year to start heading outdoors and enjoying the warm weather and spending time with family and friends. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Let's now listen to our Chinese teacher, Henny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分提到，在墨西哥人们会前往特奥蒂瓦坎的史前金字塔，借由吸收太阳从地平线升起时的第一道曙光的正能量来庆祝春分。好，文中它用到补充单字 prehistoric。 我们知道 historic 是形容是历史的啊，或者是历史性的，或是具有历史意义的。我们在前面加上字首 pre 是指在点点点之前，或者是先于什么什么。 prehistoric 就是形容史前的。好，那其实 pre 这个字首是很常见的，这边来帮同学们做补充。字首 pre 它有 before、beforehand 或者是 in front of 的意思，可以表达之前啊、事先啊，或是在点点点之前。那它可以指时间啊、空间或是顺序上。像怀孕 pregnant 这个字当中，pre 表示之前，那么 GNANT 表示生产，在生产之前的那一段期间呢，就是怀孕的意思咯。所以 pregnant 可以形容怀孕的或是有身孕的。那跟 pre 相反的字首是 POST， 表示之后、后来或是后面。像 pre-war 是形容战前的， post-war 是形容战后的。Pre-game 是形容赛前的，比赛之前的，那么 post-game 是形容赛后的。好，那我们再补充几个有字首 pre 的单字。第一个是 precaution， 它的字首 pre 表示事先， caution 是谨慎小心的意思。那么事先谨慎应该很容易联想到 precaution， 它有预防措施的意思。那第二个补充的是 predecessor， predecessor， 好，它的字首 pre表示之前，那后面这个 decessor 在拉丁文里面表示退休官员，那之前的退休官员就表示是前辈咯。 predecessor 这个字就常常用来指前任，像是担任某职务前任的那个人啊，或者是某事物的前身。第三个补充的是 preposition， 它的字首 pre 表示之前，然后 position 这个部分是位置，合在一起 preposition 就是介系词，因为我们知道通常介系词的位置就会摆在名词的前面嘛，你就可以用这个方式去联想它的意思。好，另外文中也用到单字 absorb 来表达吸收，它的字首 AB 也很常见哦，我们也来做补充。好， AB 这个字首它有 from 或是 away 或者是 off 的意思，表示从点点点或者是离开、分离的意思。那在 absorb 这个字当中，它的字首 AB 表示 from 从，那么字根 sorb 它有 suck in 就是吸入、吸进来的那种意思，这样应该很容易联想到 absorb 它就是指吸收，尤其是指逐渐吸收，所以你就可以从中文去想说 absorb 它还有理解啊、掌握的意思，像是理解、掌握某个知识、讯息等等。我们顺便补充两个相同字首的单字，第一个是 aboriginal， 好，它的字首 AB 表示从，那么 original 是形容原本的、最初的，我们就可以用来自原生地去联想土生土长的意思。Aboriginal 就是用来形容原住民的或是土生土长的。那么第二个补充的是 abnormal， 它的字首 AB 表示偏离， normal 是正常，那合在一起 abnormal 就表示不正常的或是反常的。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾这些单字吧。
Pyramid. There are more than 100 ancient pyramids in Egypt. Absorb.A plant's leaves absorb energy from the sun. Horizon. The sun sank below the horizon, casting an orange glow across the sky. Elsewhere. My favorite restaurant was closed, so I had to go elsewhere. Residence. That building over there is the Prime Minister's residence. Peer. Martha needs to spend more time studying and less time trying to impress her peers.Scramble. Diane made coffee while Tony scrambled the eggs.
Discussion starter starts now.
It's time now for our discussion starter. Which of the celebrations mentioned in the article sounds the most appealing to you, and why?
I think that the one in Zenica, Bosnia sounds the most appealing. I really like the idea of cooking scrambled eggs and sharing it with friends and family in the morning. I don't really like the idea of being in the middle of a crowd in a chaotic situation with people spraying each other with water or throwing powder at each other, or even going directly too close to the sun, because that can be dangerous as well.It
could be. You might get a nasty sunburn there. But for me, it's kind of a toss-up, okay? I'd like to go to Mexico again. I love Mexico. I like speaking Spanish. But also going to Holi sounds kind of interesting. So ringing in spring by attending Holi there sounds very appealing to me. As I like Indian food, I like Indian music, and I think Indian people are pretty cool. So that would probably be a lot of fun. And I probably don't really mind the crowds as much as you do, Helen. Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoyed reading along with us. I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.